So, this is the first video that I'll be making. Now that I turn on the camera, all of a sudden I have no idea what I want to say. First order of business, I guess, is setting my goals. I'm really just on here trying to work on public speaking and stuff. I've wanted to make videos for a while, and I just haven't done it, I guess. And this is kind of just a way of getting more comfortable taking videos, because even now I'm just like fumbling for words and whatnot. But yeah, I've wanted to make videos for a while, just kind of like talking about stuff. Really riveting stuff here, guys. This is first take, and I'm not canceling it. I really want to, but I'm not going to cancel this. Yeah, I just really... my first video... yeah. This is going great. Yeah, one of my goals, I guess, is to not use words like and just deal with silence instead. Take a deep breath and realize that it's whatever. Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot on my mind usually that I don't really get to take off my chest ever. And so I feel like this would be a good exercise to not only do that, but to also work on my public speaking and to externalize things that I only keep inside. I saw a video earlier where it said that knowledge that isn't converted into embodiment can never turn into wisdom. So I guess I'm trying to take knowledge and embody that kind of, and put it out there in the world instead of just keeping it in my head. So yeah, I guess for the first, what I'll talk about today is moving in and kind of acclimating to Norman again, because I was in Belize doing woofing, and it was good for my state of mind. You know, things like that are always, you gain a new baseline, you know, without the technology, because my screen time there was probably closer to an hour and a half, 2 hours a day, whereas here it's, you know, closer to 6 hours, 7 hours. So cutting down on that kind of creates a new baseline, and you notice new things about yourself. There's mosquitoes all over the place. Just got one of the fuckers. So coming back here and reintegrating, I guess, into Norman has been interesting. I didn't expect to keep on going with 2 hours of screen time a day. I didn't really expect much, to be honest. But things were different when I came back. It felt like my old habits were kind of shattered. They were still there, and I still felt a pull from them. I struggle obviously with the phone. I struggle with going to sleep a lot. So if left to my own devices, a lot of the time I'll end up going to sleep at 2 or 3 a.m. when I know I shouldn't. My body's just not made for that. I've known people in the past that can just do that. They can just go to sleep at 6 a.m. and then go to sleep and wake up and feel great the next morning. And that's just not me. So left to my own devices, those are kind of the things I struggle with. And those struggles are still there, but they're not as concrete anymore. Whereas before, it felt like I could there was no escape. There was no way out because I'd been in that environment for 4 years straight. And that's all I really knew. That's all I could really remember was just this cycle of phone and nicotine. Nicotine's another addiction. Sorry, somebody's texting me. But then, I go and I realize that it doesn't have to be like that in Belize, and that I'm capable of not being like that. So I come back and it creates new possibilities. I'm more aware of the fact that I don't have to do that. There is a way out, and it's not just something that's ingrained in me, So there's that. Oh, I had a cool experience yesterday in a sauna at Crunch. Me and my roommates, I just moved into a new house here with 2 roommates that I really vibe well with. I haven't really had a rooming situation that's been really optimal in the last 4 years. I've moved around almost every year in the last 4 years, and every time there's something that seemingly feels wrong with it. The vibe is just off. There's some sort of dynamic that's messed up. But this year, I'm in with 2 roommates. We all get along really well. For example, the house I lived in 2 years ago was 6 people, including me, and each of us did our own thing. There was one roommate that I really hung out with consistently, or we vibed well with each other, but the others, we'd all just do our own thing. And that's not really what I'd like out of a roommate situation. Here, both my roommates, we show up in the living room and we all just are there talking, which doesn't really happen. Everybody kind of avoids each other, or that was somewhat happening at the last apartment. So that in and of itself kind of is more conducive to it, just a better day-to-day. There was something that I had on my mind that I can't remember now, but it had to do with something. Oh yeah, so we were at the Crunch sauna. I've been going to the gym with my roommates, and some dude comes in, and he was there before us, so we all 3 get in there. It's a small sauna, so it's a bit cramped, and he just tells us, he's like, hey, can I share something? I don't really know why I want to share it with y'all, but I feel like y'all are the ones to share this with. And he goes into his life story about abusing all sorts of drugs, psychedelics, stimulants, downers, just anything. He said he's tried everything except for heroin. He wasn't really into God before, but then he found God through these drugs, through some vision that God showed him, which is a story that you hear before, or that I've heard before. But then he turned it into some preaching for Jesus, which was really bizarre. But it was a cool conversation regardless, because I find it, those kinds of people I enjoy talking to. Those are the conversations that I really enjoy, are just weird ones about weird shit. I don't, small talk is pretty boring, I feel like. And just, day-to-day stuff like, oh, I went to the, how was your day? And just tell them. My parents do that a lot, and they don't really go into anything deeper, and it's really annoying. I find myself getting irritated a lot at the questions they ask, and I think that's why, because they all just tiptoe around the actual issues at hand, So, yeah, but it kind of showed me that there's people like that around Norman. I gotta stop saying the town name, because I don't really want that out there, but it's no big deal. But yeah, so that was kind of cool. And there was another guy in there as well that showed up after, and he was on the same wave. It was not a coincidence that all 5 of us were in there, because all 5 of us are into that kind of stuff. I know my roommates are, I know I am. This random guy decided to share all of this stuff and get into a deep conversation about all of it. And then this other random guy in there. And the town I'm in is not into stuff like that. It's very religious. We were sitting on our porch the other day, and some guy just walked up, and they were from the church next door, and they were, preaching for Jesus. It's very much that kind of town. Everything's structured. It's a very religious town. So, yeah. I've been trying to find agricultural stuff, though, here. Oh fuck, what the fuck? There's bugs all over the place here. And they're really bad in the backyard. Mosquitoes eat me alive, and they've been finding me. I've killed probably 6 while I'm out here, but yeah. I think that's really it. I feel like I'm missing a lot, but this is only my first video. So I'm just gonna cut my losses, I think, and leave it here.